He has been working relentlessly for 5 straight hours. His calendar is flawless. His Notion workspace is a work of art, and his list of prerequisite reading is fully categorized. Kabir feels incredibly productive. But tonight, there is a dark, unspoken truth hiding behind his pristine desk. Kabir hasn't actually done a single piece of real work in 6 months. Kabir is a casualty of a silent corporate and creative plague, the action-faking epidemic. It is a psychological trap where your brain tricks you into confusing preparation with progress. Today, we break down the hidden neuroscience of how busy work hijacks your dopamine loops and how to break the cycle of fake execution. Part 1. The Illusion of Movement. Kabir is a 26-year-old aspiring freelance copywriter. He has a sharp mind, a genuine passion for writing, and a stack of expensive courses on his hard drive. He wants to land his first high-paying client. If you look at Kabir's daily schedule, he looks like a machine. He wakes up at 6 a.m., spends an hour highlighting business books, spent last week designing a beautiful logo for his personal brand, and spent this entire evening organizing his digital folders. He tells his friends, "I'm just laying the groundwork before I launch." But neurologically, Kabir is trapped in a spinning wheel. He is trapped because of a psychological concept known as motion versus action. When you are in a state of motion, you are planning, strategizing, and learning. This is safe. It takes place entirely in your comfort zone. When Kabir researches how to pitch clients, his brain doesn't feel threatened. Instead, it gets a smooth, steady hit of dopamine because the act of learning feels like progress. Action, on the other hand, is the behavior that will deliver an actual outcome. For Kabir, action means cold emailing a real business owner and risking a rejection. Because the primitive brain is wired to conserve energy and avoid social pain, it chooses the path of least resistance. It chooses motion. Kabir's brain plays a brilliant trick on him. It makes him feel the emotional reward of being an entrepreneur without requiring him to face the terrifying risk of actually being one. He is addicted to the feeling of getting ready. Part 2. The Perfectionism Shield. By month 3, Kabir's Notion dashboard looks like a multi-million-dollar agency's operating system. He has templates for invoices he has never sent, a CRM database for clients he hasn't met, and a list of 50 blog post ideas he hasn't written. Whenever he feels a twinge of guilt about not pitching, his anxiety triggers a sophisticated defense mechanism, the Perfectionism Shield. In behavioral psychology, this is known as productive procrastination. It is the most dangerous form of delay because it completely bypasses your conscience. If you spend the day watching television, you know you're slacking off. The guilt forces you back to work. But if you spend the day redesigning your website or organizing your workspace, you feel righteous. You tell yourself, "I can't pitch clients until my portfolio looks absolutely perfect. I'm just maintaining high standards." Kabir was using perfection as a psychological armor to protect his ego from the pain of failure. As long as his portfolio was in development, he couldn't be rejected. He was hyperfixating on trivial details to avoid the one high-impact, terrifying metric that actually mattered, hitting the send button on a pitch. Before we watch the moment Kabir's beautifully organized universe completely falls apart, let's make sure your own ambitions aren't being buried under a mountain of color-coded to-do lists. If you want to stop faking movement and start building unshakable raw execution habits based on behavioral science, hit that subscribe button. We break down the toxic traps of modern productivity culture every single week so you can finally get out of your own way. Now let's see the moment Kabir's matrix cracked. Part 3. The Productivity Hangover. The awakening happened on a Tuesday afternoon. Kabir ran into an old college friend, Amit, at a local cafe. Amit was never a perfectionist. His desk was messy, he didn't use Notion, and he barely understood branding. When Kabir asked how his work was going, Amit casually replied, "Oh, it's great. I started a small consulting gig last month. I just cold called 20 local business owners on my phone. 18 told me to get lost, but 2 said yes. I'm making $3,000 a month now." Kabir went home, sat at his pristine, beautifully curated desk, and felt a crushing wave of existential dread. This is the productivity hangover. Kabir looked at his immaculate calendar and realized the brutal truth. Amit's ugly, unstructured, terrifying action had generated real-world revenue in 2 days, while Kabir's beautiful, comfortable motion had generated $0 in 90 days. The cognitive dissonance was agonizing. Kabir had fallen into the competence trap. He had spent months becoming an expert at the meta-work of productivity, while entirely losing his capacity for the actual labor. He had optimized the engine of a car that he was too afraid to put in drive. Part 4. The Ugly Execution Protocol. How did Kabir break out of the epidemic? He didn't delete his apps, but he instituted a radical behavioral constraint framework called the Ugly Execution Protocol. Step 1. He implemented the one-to-one input-output rule. Kabir made a strict psychological contract with himself. He was banned from reading a new copywriting article or watching a tutorial video unless he immediately spent an equal amount of time writing real copy for a real target. He balanced his consumption with creation. Step 2. He engineered a frictionless action environment. He stripped his workflow down to the bare minimum. He closed Notion, hid his highlighters in a drawer, and opened a plain, blank Google document. He realized that the more complex his setup was, the more places his anxiety had to hide. Step 3. He hunted for rejections. Instead of trying to write a perfect email, he gave himself a bizarre new goal. Get rejected by 5 businesses before Friday. This completely flipped the psychological script. By making rejection the goal, his brain stopped viewing the cold email as a threat. On Wednesday morning, trembling slightly, he typed out a flawed, deeply unperfect pitch and hit send. Then he did it again and again. By Friday, he didn't get 5 rejections. He got 3 non-responses, 1 polite no, and 1 small business owner who said, "Hey, your email is a bit raw, but I like your hustle. Let's jump on a call." The spell was broken. Kabir was finally in the game. The action-faking epidemic is highly addictive because it masquerades as ambition. It allows you to feel like a CEO while playing safely in the sandbox of your own mind. But the real world does not reward you for the beauty of your to-do list. It rewards you for the scars of your execution. Stop checking your calendar. Stop updating your templates. Stop waiting until you feel perfectly ready. The magic you are looking for is hidden inside the very task you are avoiding. Close this tab, open a blank page, and take 1 messy, imperfect, terrifying step forward right now. Are you an action faker? Have you been organizing your life instead of living it? Tell me the 1 messy action you are going to take today in the comments below. Let's build a community of execution. Give this video a like if you're ready to put down the highlighters, and I'll see you in the next one.